with another episode of the Ageplay Confidential Podcast. This is a show where I, your host, Super Baby, discuss anything and everything Ageplay related. That's right. And if you don't know what Ageplay is, you're missing out. I mean, shit. No, for real, if you don't know and you stumble upon this page somehow and you saw the photo of the half man, half baby looking dude, and you're like, what is this? It is what you think it is. Ageplay. We like to pretend to be younger than we really are. Okay, some use it as a coping mechanism. Others find it extremely erotic, as do I. And I'm into everything Ageplay related. I love it. You suggest it, I'll want to do it. You see what I'm saying? So welcome to the show. And if you want to stick around and listen to some more, I would totes appreciate it. And today I wanted to talk about something. This is actually a suggestion. I put a question requesting topics and or people to interview for this podcast. If you have any suggestions, by the way, of people you'd like to hear on the show, some people in the Ageplay community, please make a comment below. And if you know the person and they are interested in being on the show, let's get us in touch with each other, or maybe I know them already. Okay, so we'll do that. You help me, I help you, right? I want to have a lot of special guests on this podcast. Not so much interviews, but people to join me for an episode where we talk about whatever, you know? So it doesn't have to be an interview per se, but like a co-host of sorts, right? So that would be fun, I think. We can have different topics to discuss, but anyway. So I put out a question in my Instagram stories, and I requesting a topic, and somebody responded with this. It's a two-parter, because the first part kind of didn't make no sense. But let's say the question is, I don't know if this is already done or if I talked about it, but the how do I tell my mom people is a topic to discuss. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And then they further went to explain in a different story, to expand what extent is okay to share with this stuff and why do people need to tell parents? Okay, yes. This is an interesting topic because I've seen this question asked in a lot of other people's content. Maybe they're responding to a mommy per se or something like that, or any prominent age player might get this question, and it's like, hey, how do I tell my mom that I'm into this thing? What? Excuse me? A baking powder? Why would you want to do that? Why in the blue hell would you want to tell your parents that you have an Ageplay fetish? What are you looking to accomplish by doing such a ridiculous sounding act? Okay? Now, this is something that I think should be shared with you and you alone, and or somebody, a consenting adult who is willing to participate in this kind of shenanigans with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? AKA another age player, someone else in the community. Let's keep those who will never understand this community out of the community, especially parents. Okay? If you somehow discovered that your mom or dad is Ageplay and maybe you want to say, hey, me too, I guess, right? Because look, age players have kids. And what if by chance and the little bastard's a freaking age player as well? And then somehow through social media, let's say the parents, we're in a day and age where parents are, posting shit on Instagram. So they just stumble across each other's fucking profiles. Ew. Think about first of all, let's think about that scenario right now. Okay, imagine you're the kid and you're searching on the internet and you're like, oh, I just discovered that I'm an ABDL, and you discover your parents' mommy baby boy account Instagram. What? And they're prominent in the community, and you're just like, wow. You're like Willow Smith. You're like, oh shit, I got a lot to live up to. It's a lot of pressure. Or would you be skeeved out? Or would you come to them for advice? What would you do? I think I'll be honest with you. If I found out one of my close real life male friends was into this, I'd be startled. And I'd be like, oh no shit, not you. As if like it was like I wasn't part of the community. But then would I approach them? I probably would somehow, but I'd fuck with them. I'd be like, yo, look what I found. Yo, what the fuck is this? Like, I'd fuck with them a little bit. I'm like, psych, check mine out. Mine's worse. And then we'd be like buddies, let me just sidetrack here. I had mentioned in my stories, and I got a lot of people peeved about this, that I mentioned that I would never hang out with a dude in diapers ever. Now, if I found out one of my close boys was into it, maybe, but I seriously believe that both of us would be so weirded out that we wouldn't want to do that anyway. That's just my opinion. Anyway, forget that shit. Back to the thing. Now, telling your parents is I highly suggest you don't ever do that willy-nilly, out of the blue, because of your own idea. Now, if for some reason your parents catch you or find your stash or find your Ageplay account, because maybe you're silly enough to have left it public, then you have some splaining to do. And then perhaps in that instance, you can mention what Ageplay is, and hopefully they understand, right? But I don't think that it's a good idea to just freely come out and offer that information up. Gratis, free of charge, without I don't think you should do that. I don't think it's because it could bring up a whole world of hurt. You don't know how they're going to react, if they're going to want you to seek help, if they're going to tell other family members and or friends because they just whatever, because there's parents that are like that for real. So you got to think about that too. And you just don't want to have that headache, and the chance that they'll alienate you for this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I highly suggest against it. Now, what about friends? What about close friends? Friends you've had since whatever. I'd be more willing to tell a friend in confidence, a friend that I've known, that I trust, that doesn't give a shit about that kind of stuff. I'd be comfortable telling somebody over a parent or a loved one. So, I think that's okay. I know there's a lot of people who have told their really good friends what they're into, and it's fine. It is what it is. That's just a kink. People have kinks. Some friends are more open to discuss their personal things with their close friends than others. Some people just don't give a shit. There are people out there, yeah, I like to wear diapers. No big deal. And you know what? Maybe that's how it should be handled, nonchalantly. What are you into? Yeah, I like to wear diapers. It's pretty cool. It makes me feel good. I think it's sexy, blah, blah, blah. What? They'd be like, what? So friends, I think is okay. I think friends are okay to tell. But parents, loved ones, no. Stay away. Don't do that. Please don't do that. I advise against it. I don't think you have anything to gain by doing so. And you have to think to yourself, what is the end game? What results do you want to get? Why do you think it would be smart to tell your parents? What benefits will that give you? And then what negative, what's the side effect going to be of them hearing this information and how they're going to process it in their brain? You don't know. You don't know, and you might not be ready for the ramifications of what you told them. So, now, if you really need to tell somebody bad, maybe you can confide in a good friend. If you don't have any good friends, you can confide in the community. As long as you're part of the community and you get to know people, you're never really going to be alone. Personally, yes, this age play can be a very, very lonely thing. To have this need, this want, this desire to be treated a certain way, and to not have people around that understand it, that you can talk to, that you can interact with on a real, physical, personal level. That's very hard to come by. People are lucky. People find friends locally, just so happen to be around the corner, or people do find love in this community in weird locations. I mean, vanilla conversions to full-on immersion to the community. I mean, that's a wonderful thing. And whenever I see that, I'm just like, wow, that gives a lot of us hope, as long as you're not a creep. Okay, because there's a lot of creeps in this community. Let's be honest. I'm sorry to say this, but a good portion of you guys that are listening to me right now are creeps. And it's no offense. I don't know who you are, but if you're worried about, trying to make friends in the community and you wonder why you can't, you have to maybe rethink your approach. I'm sorry. It's a general statement about creeps. I'm just kidding. I don't think you guys are creeps. But let's play the numbers, and there's got to be a couple of you that are creeps. Hey, what can I say? And if you get hurt about that comment, then think about that for a second. No, nobody's a creep, okay? There needs to be proper etiquette when you try to communicate with somebody, right? There is proper etiquette. You can't just say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Wear diapers much? It's like you need to have, like just before I got contacted by somebody and they wrote out an entire paragraph as to why they were contacting me. And I found that nice. I didn't know this person, but they took the time to write out something explaining their situation. And I responded, and we had a little back and forth, and now I made a new friend. You see that? That's how it works. And it is possible, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to be cool. That's neither here nor there. I think most of you guys know that. Anyway, thank you for for joining me on this episode of Ageplay Confidential. Please remember, if you have any questions for me as far as advice goes, after all, I am one of the old school OGs in this ABDL community. I'd be glad to give you my 2 cents. You can email me at ageplayconfidential@gmail.com. That's ageplayconfidential@gmail.com. Write me a little note. If you want to remain anonymous, please let me know. Tell me your story and how I can help you, and I will read your question on the air and give you my advice. So we have that, and I might as well bring this up now. I'm in the process of starting my Just for Fans page, finally. And I'm in the process of getting verified right now. But once that's all said and done, I'll give you the 411. And if you'd like to support me, this Ageplay podcast and whatnot, that would be fun and dandy, wouldn't it? And I'd give you some excellent content, exclusive content, content I wouldn't post on my own page. How about that? Anyway, thank you again for joining me on this episode of Ageplay Confidential. I hope you have a wonderful night.